IPEC and PIPEC across the country. Dr. Somshekhar's inquisitive mind has led him to coordinate and run many clinical trials and original clinical research. He has hosted a number of scientific research publications to earn a worldwide reputation for his high quality of work and recommendations thereof. He finds himself in the chair and in the lead at numerous professional societies like the European Society of Surgical Oncology and is currently the president of the Association of Breast Surgeons of India. He has delivered many prestigious orations and given innumerable invited lectures. And at such and each of these, he enthralls the packed audience with the scientific feast of knowledge. Dr. Somshekhar's all-round personality sees him as an avid chess player, having represented the university in chess and still participate at open chess tournaments. He loves to read, to travel, to listen to Indian classical music, both vocal and violin based. The Association of Surgeons of India is very proud and honored to introduce and invite Dr. Somshekhar to deliver the PK Sen Memorial Oration for the year 2020. He will be sharing his wisdom on Indian solution for Indian problems. Make in India solution for breast cancer services in India. Over to you, Dr. Somshekhar, for your expected fantastic lecture. Thank you.
Thank you very much. At the outset, thank you very much for a wonderful introduction, my colleague, my friend. And I thank ASI, my seniors, my colleagues, my teachers, and all my students and everybody for bestowing such a wonderful honor to me. And I hope that I will do justice for such a wonderful honor. And I am wholeheartedly thankful to the academic section or the selection committee of the ASI and my teacher and my seniors. So I bring warm regards from ASI and also the sister concern chapter Association of Breast Surgeons of India under ASI. So the topic of my oration today is, whole world, we actually initially, West looked East, and now we know that it is not the thing. Indian solutions for Indian problems, make in India solution, worked on our patients, our data, and validated on us is the main particular thing for us at this time. So for breast care services in India, how we can build up our own solution for our problems and how we make it within India is the essence of my oration. The entire talk of mine and oration is totally based on the original research I have done completely in each of this field and brought about original research publications in international journals, which have been also incorporated in various national and international guidelines. So what is the current healthcare status in India? There is little awareness of cancer, breast cancer. People come extremely late, and which is very sad. If you look back the World Globocon data of the breast cancer, unfortunately, we have very high incidence of mortality. Breast cancer is the #1 cancer among all for us, but even more very, very sad is it is rapidly increasing. When I came back to Bangalore from Pittsburgh, from Best Fellowship, we had 17 per 100,000, and now it is more than 32 per 100,000 in Bangalore. So rapidly it is increasing. If you look back among top 5 cancers across all the sex, breast cancer is #1. Even more worrisome is the breast cancer is #1 in the mortality, which is very, very sad. What does the Globocon say? Even though we have 1,62,000 breast cancer, look at the death, equal 87,000, which means 50% mortality in India. 1 in 2 women die. 1 out of 28 women develop breast cancer in their lifetime in India. Look at the COVID, which we are so much scared. Case fatality is just 1.5%. Breast cancer in India is 50% mortality, one among the top in the world, which is very sad. How is our breast cancer different? Our breast cancer is different because we have 1 decade early. Young population, 3rd decade, 4th decade. If you look back in USA, even though 2/3 of the breast cancer incidence in the world is added actually by the Western population, but surprisingly 50% of mortality is added by us, India. It shows it is so poor. In Western world, 1 out of 6 women only die. But in India, 1 in 2 breast cancer die. 50% mortality, which is very sad. So when I looked up after I came back from the Pittsburgh University doing breast cancer fellowship and my FRCS, I looked at this particular area that there is a lack of breast cancer screening in India because mammography is not possible, not applicable for Indian population. Sentinel lymph node is gold standard of care, but rarely performed in India, less than 1%. What is the reason? We don't have nuclear medicine facilities. Breast genomic assay today is the norm, but it is so expensive, 2 to 3 lakh rupees, we can't do, and all the sample has to go to US. Lack of standardization in the management of guidelines for breast cancer in India. Lack of uniformity in practicing the breast cancer in second-tier city, medical college as we go into primary health care. So I understood that these are the research we don't have, make in India solution, Indian problems. So I took up working on this particular area, doing a virginal research which could be applicable, economically affordable solution across the India. Remember, it's just the knowledge and awareness, not knowledge is not just the power, it is the potential. And applying this knowledge is the power, and understanding why, when to apply in our Indian patient is the wisdom. So that's when, our solution, the government solution, and then the Prime Minister particular theme is Make in India, Indian solution for Indian problem, Make in India solution for breast cancer in India. The first research, screening. We know that if you use a conventional mammogram, you have to 1,000 screen to identify 3 cancer. Mammogram machines cannot go to periphery, expensive. You had to fit it in a Volvo bus, women would not come. Even if you have mammogram reading, mammography trained are very less. In India, additionally, we have 1 decade young population, dense breast. So a mammography is not accurate. So breast cancer screening scenario, less than 5% undergo mammogram screening. Population-based screening not viable, huge cost. 13% of our women are above 50, rest all are or below. So what are the unfavorable statistics we have when we compare? We have about 60% of breast cancer in 40 to 46. Survival is half only. Annual incidence, even though it is plateaued in the Western world, for us it is climbing. Less than 1% are screened, unlike 90% above. We have less than 10,000 trained radiologists to read mammogram in India. So we need to develop a tool which should be different. We have breast self-examination, not adequate. Clinical breast examination, RCTs are going, still not reaching. The advanced equipment like mammogram, 3D mammogram, MRI, not applicable for Indian population. So if you look back in this area, there is a sweet spot between clinical breast examination and a gadgets we need to apply. That is when I came across our close friends who wanted to work with our Manipal University and our team to develop a handheld device. Once you charge, for 2 months, no need to charge. Take it to the periphery. You don't need a doctor or radiographer, but a handheld person, a healthcare worker. And once you go and scan them, the data would come to iPhone to you. Weatherproof. You don't need, battery backup or electricity in the periphery. Based on a pressure sensor, automatically it sends it through your iPhone or to the iPad sitting in a major center. So this particular device was worked with like-minded people, painless, radiation-free, effective, affordable. It can be sent to periphery, US FDA cleared. But no studies are done in the world. So I took up this particular study with this modular design applicable to women in India. And then you don't need a doctor or a surgeon or a radiologist. Equipped with this, 2 months, they will go screen everything. The data comes to us sitting there to our iPhone or iPad and do this. And then you can use this particular area. The proof of pudding is it true? I conducted over 2,000 breast, a triple arm kind. All breast women had a clinical breast examination, then with iBreast, then they had sono, mammogram, and core biopsy. So 3 arm, all triple blinded. And the data which I brought out was, you can see that this particular device had 94% specificity, negative predictive value of 98%, far superior than clinical best examination or this in any modality. This was a research which I published in Springer Journal of Oncology, based on which the NHSRC Health Technology identified this as an effective solution for developing countries. And you can see this device and my study and original study in Indian women has been enlisted in this particular area. And the proof of pudding was based on the research I did in India, in Bangalore and the rural area. The World Health Organization identified this as the top 10 innovation health technology used for low resource setting. And now a lot of state governments have adapted this particular solution. The next thing I noticed is sentinel lymph node. We know that this is not an era of maximum tolerable treatment. Don't bombard the patients with radical surgeries and give complication. Minimum effective treatment, not compromising cure and cosmesis. But the problem is, it's very good to do this particular surgery, but the complication in women, 50% is extremely high, leading to lot of complications which are permanent. But we know that 70% of the time, stage 1, stage 2, you don't have node involvement. We brought out a paper. India is not only the house of LABC now. 40% of the women in India are eligible for breast conservation, even in rural and second tier. But the problem is what? ASCO brought out a statement, in this era, it is crime not to offer sentinel lymph node. But what do you need? You actually need a radiocolloid, which you need nuclear medicine. How many people can have? Expensive, 2 hours before you need to give, and lymphatic channel difficult, very expensive. It cannot be practiced in medical college, second tier city, leave alone in a major city. So this problem is, we wanted to look, is there any other way? There are only 300 nuclear medicine centers in India. That means what happens to the rest of the country? So easy, safe, economical. So with the like-minded people in Bangalore through Irillic, we developed a Indian handheld fluorescence imaging. The original company from Western world is 1.2 crore. We developed it indigenously in India with like-minded people, which works on an Indian ICG. Is it true? So we did a prospective 2-arm study, 100 women. We did, in this particular study, we had a standard arm, the blue dye and the radiocolloid, and an Indian one. You can see that you don't need anybody. You just give it, it's a dynamic scan, and the lymph node straight away fluorescence. So it's very simple and easy. Developed in India, in Bangalore, easily affordable at less than 1/10 the cost. On the table, you give an injection in front of your eye, for a second, the dye goes on. You don't need any handheld camera or any other. This one, no nuclear medicine department. And when you go into the axilla, it stops there. It is a dynamic imaging rather than a static imaging. And then when you look back, you can keep an incision and a fluorescent node is lifted up. So what did the study show for us? It showed that compared to the standard of care, this ICG alone was 97.6% accurate. And what happened? You know, if you look back, false negative rate, when you compare the standard handheld gamma blue dye compared to ICG, ICG was best. And even we did a cost analysis. It takes about 25,000 rupees to do a sentinel node in a woman, but the cost of ICG is only 2,500, 1/10 the cost practiced in India. Rightfully, this was published as a rapid acceptance in the top journal in the world, the clinical breast cancer, the research which me and my group did. So what did it give? No nuclear medicine, no technician, solution prepared by doctor, no radiation hazard, and few hundred rupees you can offer it to all the women possible, which is very, very easy. The proof of pudding and the greatest honor came from NHS UK study. The meta-analysis published last month in Annals of Surgery. They acknowledged that the Indian innovation from India and Bangalore with this probe and our study is equivalent and superior to any multi-crore Western population. And you can look back the research from India and the device from India, which has been acknowledged as a stable replacement to the worldwide. And this is the one which showed in a statistical significance in Oxford overview meta-analysis, make in India solution for the world. So highly cost effective. Everybody, second tier city, medical college, second tier city, general surgeon practicing breast oncology can be practiced, and our women can get this particular benefit. Third area which I worked as a original research was, we know that we have multi-gene assay to avoid chemo, but do we have an Indian research on Indian patient validated with low cost? We all know that there are about 60% of women who are luminal A who don't need chemo. We don't know, but we have to give chemo. The cost of chemo in a medical college, cancer center or a periphery is so expensive. If there is a way we can know which are the patient with genomic multigene assay, we don't have to give chemo. Currently, what is the prognostic answer for us? Low risk, no chemo. High risk, you have to give chemo. But what are the options for low risk? Oncotype DX, Endopredict, Memaprint. They're all Western world. What is the cost? 2 to 2.5 lakh per test. Turnaround time of 3 weeks. Is it possible? Impossible. Entire breast cancer treatment, 10 women's treatment gets over with that cost. So prohibitively expensive, not accessible, long turnaround, not validated in Indian patient. Rightfully, ICMR in India brought out that these multi-genes are not validated in India. So with a group in Bangalore, with a like-minded scientist, IHC baked 4 biomarker for India to do that. I did it as one of the principal investigator in my center with the Manipal University, and we proved and validated that this Indian solution with a turnaround time of 72 hours equivalent to Western at 1/10 the cost. And this I was invited to present in ESMO, published in all national international journal and San Antonio, and we validated against the best Western Oncotype DX, and we published it in the Cancer Medicine, and now it is used across 40 centers in India. Indian solution for Indian problem, made in India for made in world at 1/10 the cost. The last few part of it, we don't have a standardized modules. So we with our like-minded people, all our past presidents and ABSI members, we brought out an ABSI training module for general surgeons, standardizing breast healthcare in India for India, ABC or what every surgeon should know. We brought about a module. This is a DVD with all the set across all state in India, north, south, east, west, all medical colleges over last 5 to 10 years, we run these modules and standardize the healthcare based on the consensus statement we brought. We borrow NCCN, ASCO, ESMO. None of them have single Indian patients for our solution. So rightfully, the ABSI association, we brought the Indian solution for Indian problem, the first ever consensus practical guideline brought out by any association, published in our Indian Journal of Surgery, the prestigious journal of our Indian Journal of Surgery. And this was honored and presented in San Antonio, US. And this is one of the solution, Indian solution for Indian problem. All the guidelines and the research done in India, which I enlisted, has been incorporated this, and we brought this particular solution. Second thing, now this is a solution of AI. Our previous chief guest, Honorary Chief Justice, told AI breast in oncology in India. I was honored to be a principal investigator in this particular on Indian patients. You know that we have 1,100 TB of data, 6 terabytes of patient data, 30% genomic, 10% genomic factors. To apply this AI in breast cancer based on level of evidence is extremely tough. So this is something which we work with IBM, where we identify what is the AI role in breast cancer. It analyzes 50 million medical textbooks, 200 medical chapters, 300 journal, and I foresaw this and presided over the first multi-institutional double-blind concordance study in Indian patient done at the Manipal University for over 1,000 breast cancer Indian women against a multidisciplinary tumor board. And what did I find? We found that this AI in Indian women, in Indian patient, is highly concordance, 97% in collision with a multidisciplinary tumor across triple negative, HER2/neu positive, HER2/neu negative, metastatic, non-metastatic. This got the best award as the best research work from our Indian work in ESMO and Barcelona and the Spain. And it's published in a prestigious Annals of Oncology, which has an impact factor of 27.3. One of the best research work which we did in the Indian women. And I was honored to have invited by the ASCO committee to run a panel, and I ran a panel in them. And the best proof of pudding is the San Antonio, the breast cancer in the world, actually did a press conference. And this particular research from Indian solution for Western world was live in 27 channels, TV channels in US. And I was one among out of the 35,000 researchers, 30 were invited as a keynote address. And this Indian solution for Indian problem, I presented on behalf of all of us, and we did a press conference. And this was regarded as the face of the San Antonio that year. So in conclusion, we should not be robbed of our mindset. Remember, bankruptcy is only in the mind and ideas, but not in the knowledge. Cheap doesn't always means inferior. More is not always better. Make in India solution. The best answer is, when I gave my oration in Australian breast body, remember, India launched 104 satellites in one rocket. What it takes US to launch one in one, all of them reach their orbit. So what is it? We took 1/10 the time to put ourselves in Mars. And if you look back, compare with Western world and Indian world, NASA versus ISRO, we paid 6 rupees 90 paise per kilometer a taxi fare to reach. So Indian technology, Indian solution, make in India are the best in the world. We are just bankrupt with our ideas. So my colleagues, my senior friends, this is not an era of maximum tolerable treatment, but minimum effective treatment. Achieving same cure, better cosmesis, better quality. More is not always better. Less is not always inferior. Cheap definitely is not inferior. Era of de-escalation within India. So this is time to think local, do make in India, Indian solutions for Indian problem, and Indian research which Western world reads and publishes. And thank you very much for this oration. So these are some of the journey which I worked as a principal investigator, which try to make change in the healthcare in India. So Indian solution to the world and India and the Western care. So the time is initially West looks East. Now no. Now whole world looks to India for our research on the large patients and our guidelines which is given to the Western world. Thank you very much. I thank ASI for giving me this honor. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Somashekhar, for an insight into breast cancer in India and your immense contribution. And we wish that you bring India forward in this line of treatment. It is unfortunate that we cannot give you the scroll of honor as well as the certificate in person. The certificate of PK Sen Oration will be dispatched to you from the ASI headquarters. And from my side and with the co-chairpersons, all the best to you for your future. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Once again, thank you so much, Dr. Somashekhar SP, and also all other chairpersons. Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on to the keynote address session, I would like to invite the chairpersons, Dr. P. Raghuram.